Hey, what's going on? Well, today is 4,000 days since this extraordinary event occurred. Nobody cares. You know why? Because they don't want you to care. Pretty much the biggest cover up on this planet. But regardless, we're going to talk about this. And I know some of you don't have the attention span, so just click on through. I'm quite sure there's Bachelor or some kind of thing on, or cute kitty cats and sweaters. But if you want to know what's going on, check this out. This is pretty serious, and I call it an extinction event. It's actually a video I put on YouTube. They censored it a bit, so we're going to kind of do it again because it's 4,000 days now today. So we'll stop this. We'll talk. All right. So on 3/11/11, three nuclear reactors melted. Okay, as a result of um, earthquakes and tidal waves and things like that. A lot of people perished. However, they didn't really tell you the severity of this. In the meantime, there was a couple vessels, big ships with men on them. Our troops were on these ships, and now they're not even paying these poor men for all the cancer they're getting. And you can look all this stuff up. I'm not gonna get into it because I'll probably get censored, but you can look some of this up. So while everything was, they said everything is under control. Everything is under control. That was the farthest from being under control. So you have to understand, these goofballs built nuclear power plants on a fault. Not to mention next to an ocean, not to mention above groundwater that travels to the ocean. So this thing was at the low elevation. Think of the mountains up top, the groundwater is going underneath this thing, and you'll see a photo. What's happening? It's melting, and radiation is going into our ocean. Today's 4,000 days since this happened. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. Nope. That's the reactor. The robots all crashed down in them. All right, this is the photo I want you to see. And so what I want you to look at here is you'll see the reactors are down at the low elevation. The little ball of fire there, that's the melting reactors, three of them. And look, there's the groundwater going right through it. And what they did, let me move my picture here. What they did is they created a 3-ton, see those two walls you see down in here? You think they're working? They're not working. They're not down deep enough, okay? The water's still getting through that. And then they also used ice. How long is that going to last? So this water flows. You can't stop it from flowing. So all this radiation has been going into the ocean. Now we're just talking about the radiation that's being created right now as you watch this video. 3 reactors look just like that little thing down there. They can't stop that. They can't stop that. And they can't stop the water flow. And then they're talking about all the tanks they dumped from the cleanup. That's a fart in the wind. And you'll see right now, as I go through this video, you're going to see all the die-offs and the dead starfish. And man, they're just hiding this. They just don't want us to know about it because it's a happy little world. Put on a sweater on your little doggy, take him for a walk. I mean, seriously, this is what's going on. This is the reality here. Let's keep going here. The music is mine, actually not mine, but was made for this And I give credits to it at the end. That's what it looked like right after. Okay, so there's a couple nuclear activists that started doing this every day since this, and they've been getting the nuclear people are spending tons of money to quiet these people down. One of them is called Dana Dunford, and he actually every single night is on, well, on weekdays, and he's on for 2 hours, and he redoes it over. It's like repetitive programming, but he's hoping people see it, and he's tried so hard, but these mainstreams are just destroying him. Matter of fact, he had about 3,000 videos, and they took them all down. He just started up again, was from scratch, and it's very, look him up, watch his show if you want to know a little bit more. I'm just doing a quick thing here. This is not what I do. I am a nuclear activist, but not like Dana. And the other one would be Kevin Blanch. He is a survivor, and he has shows too. He's a ranter, very highly intelligent man. As a matter of fact, it's very difficult to actually listen to him if you're not intelligent yourself, because he's just so full of information. It's just coming out everywhere, and it's like you got to know a lot of stuff to listen to him. But he's a great ranter, and he's been trying hard. He's been checking out all the tide pools, and that's where realize that we don't have any more starfish because they're all dying, man. The Pacific Ocean's dying, folks. Also, don't forget now, we've been polluting that ocean for a long time. Americans dumped radioactive barrels right off the coast of California and off the coast of New York. I mean, we were down at those islands blowing shit up. I mean, and let's not forget about Russia and China. They're dumping stuff too. So who knows how bad this really is? I mean, it's amazing how some of you people want to call this green energy. It's completely insane. Go to California and look at all the defective Aborigines down there where they were mining this stuff. Go to all the widows in Canada at Bear Mountain and see where all their husbands are for mining uranium. It's not clean. And then, oh yeah, it's clean energy. Yeah, it's green. What about the rods? The millions and millions of spent rods that are, if these things are put in buildings that are like Kmart's. Think about that. And they're near cities. Why do you think they have sounding rockets? You guys don't even know what a sounding rocket is, do you? Nope, you don't. Figure it out. Sounding rockets basically are rockets. They shoot up, they spray particulate, and the particulate either generates clouds or they excite it with microwaves or with ionic heaters so they can move a storm so it doesn't take down one of these sites. We have 100 sites in America that are so highly radioactive they'll take out the city of Chicago in a couple days. I mean, if one of these buildings gets hit with these rods that we can't do anything with, we shouldn't be sending rockets into space for what they're doing now, right? Putting holes in our atmosphere, so now we're getting solar winds and we're getting headaches and all that. We should be sending rockets into space with these isotopes on them. We need to get these things out of here. There's nobody wants them. Yucca Mountain don't want them. They're supposed to take all of this stuff. They don't want them. Nobody wants this stuff. They're all over the place. All right, moving on here. Dana Dunford, Kevin Blanch, and then there's another guy, another company, YouTuber, Organic Slant. You might want to check that out too. Now this is insane, and I'm totally wrong. It's not 3 million of these bags. It's 10 million. These are the particles of iodine that blew all over us. So what they're doing is the media is showing you this picture. Oh, yeah, we're cleaning it up. Where they're lying. That's not what it looks like. It kind of looks like, that. Now, real quick, you saw those other slides. Well, when you have a meltdown, okay, we talked about the one problem where it's melting into the ground. That's one whole issue. That's uranium, okay, uranium-235. And you have kind of different kind of isotopes. So these are gamma rays. Now, when you have a meltdown, like that plume of cloud that shot up right after the explosion, that is low temperature isotopes. Whole different ballgame, man. Those are alphas and betas, way worse than the gammas, because those will destroy your throat issues because it goes right, or you breathe it and you eat it. And those the half lives of those are much smaller. The iodine, I think is like 10 days or whatever. But when it gets on your food in your backyard and you eat it, you eat that iodine, that alpha particles can't go through your skin. You got to ingest them or breathe them. And that's why Japan now has like 30% of all their kids have issues with their throats. I mean, cancers. They're not telling you about all this stuff. Really bad stuff. People on the West Coast, they're going to try to blame it on the fires. Man. It was from the cesium 134, cesium 137, and iodine. And these are the isotopes from the plume that came across for 15 days. A plume came across and rained on us. And that got on our food and we ate it. And guess what? They didn't tell us about that. And after like a year, guess the half-lives are gone, but the damage is still here. It's still here. It's in our bones. In 2015, 5, 3, 6, whatever years later, you get all the bad stuff. And by the way, the C that we get, the worst thing, the C, cancer, that's the worst. There's 500 things before that can happen. 500 other illnesses. They only talk about this one. What about the other 500 that happened before the big one? Okay, so they're lying about this. This is what it looks like. Okay, we'll keep going. Wait. Oh, by the way, in those bags you saw, they're all over Japan. Look at this. This is what our tide pools used to look like, and now they look like they're dead. These are the tanks that they said they're going to dump into the ocean, which they already did. Sick kids all over Canada, or all over Japan. Iodine 131. That's the plume that flew across America. Today, you can find all types of deformations in our plants all over America. We're talking thousands of them. All these die-offs happen. Sea lions, fish, birds, whales. A lot of these die-offs you don't even see. They're way up north at those islands near Alaska. They want to blame this on that global thing. I don't think so. These mammals have leukemia. Can't eat. These are our tides, our tide pools, dead starfish. Now they're saying, oh, we're going to get to those fuel rods. Think about this. What moron would build a nuclear reactor, GE, of course, and put fuel spent rods? By the way, you have to understand what this is. You got rods made of uranium that you get energy from, but after a while, they lose some of that energy and they become spent. But they're still active, and for 10,000, 20,000 years, man, you touch one of those rods, see ya later. You got thousands and tens of thousands of these things near cities and buildings built like Kmart's. Think about that for a minute. And you got releases and leaks, and like they just had one in Chicago where they dumped gallons and gallons of radioactive isotopes into the sewer system. What do you think's going to happen to all those people in the neighborhood? Oh yeah, they'll move out. They won't keep track. They don't keep track of this stuff. Man, after 5 or 6, 7 years, bad things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. They're happening all over the world, man. 500 nuclear reactors. Now they're slowly getting rid of them. Oh yeah, America had 99 of them. Now we're down at 70, but they're slowly taking them down and shutting them down. Now the ones that they aren't decommissioning, they added 25 years to. So yeah, some of these big cities still have these things. Matter of fact, these things, some of these are held together by super glue. I mean, nuclear super glue. Come on, man. They've outlived their lifespans. It was one of the dumbest things. Einstein wanted to stop this stuff. He wanted to stop the bombs and all that. He couldn't stop it. So these they're saying they're going to go to these three reactors, or two of them, or I don't know what, I can't remember, and they're going to get these rods out. They're gone, man. There's no fifth floor. These buildings went down with the rods. They burned up, they melted, they went in the atmosphere. It was on our food, it was on our produce, it was all over, spread across on our trees. I mean, and here's a great example. You had Rocketdyne in Santa Susana, and it was one of the first nuclear reactor American meltdowns. And then Russia had one before us, and this is way before Chernobyl, okay? And this one melted up there on Rocketdyne, and then they built all these houses down below in the last 50 years. All these kids, they got MSNBC as a show. Check it out. Kids with leukemia, all kind of stuff. And then you had the Woolsey fire, which happened to start up there and burn up all them radioactive trees and radioactive sites. A lot of these trees have radiation in them, and you burn them up in a fire. Where do you think that's going? Oh yeah, it's going to people's attics. Now they're saying they got radioactive dust in the attics in California from the fires. Gee, I wonder why. It's not rocket science. And that stuff they're breathing also is poison oak. I mean, people have all kind of issues right up in here. And there are tons of them got it down in California from all that air they're breathing, not to mention this 311 thing that happened. So they're going to clean up something that ain't there anymore. There you go. I said 3 million. There's 10 million of these bags. And these bags are leaking now. They have storms. They're going down rivers all over Japan. Think about living next to this stuff. This is highly radioactive contamination. Even the old Olympics, you can see where there's the bags and there's the stadium. And these things, how long does a plastic bag last? How long? Seriously, how long does a plastic bag last? Temporary, man. I mean, that stuff in those bags is 10,000 years worth of stuff. And they're storing it. They're going to have to move those bags. Those bags are going to fall apart. They're in the sun. It's amazing. It's amazing. 4,000 days. And we still got this big problem. And you know what's crazier? Is while this happened, is we had these sensors in 99 parts of America that measure radiation, right? A bunch of them were working. And what they did was they tested the milk right when this happened. The milk is the number one test in cows. And if the milk is radioactive, that means all the soil is radioactive. That's the first thing they test. And they found out it was radioactive in Hawaii. Guess what they did? Oh, no more milk testing in America. That's it. They quit for a year. Gee, remember iodine? Half-life in 9 days. Cesium 138-37, half-life of 3 years and 30 days. So what they did is these sensors were all over America. And you could look them up. Now you can't. They took them down. Oh, gee, they took them down so you and me can't see the stuff. Oh, it's gone. I have copies of them because I've been collecting this stuff for a while. A lot of other people have as well. So they measured, those things only measured gamma. Remember? Gamma, alpha, not the alpha. Alpha were little plates. You got to take the plates out, take them to the lab. So they took all the plates out and they took them to the lab, the EPA lab, and they measured the gamma. But gamma was never a problem. It wasn't the radiation from a nuclear power plant that's leaking into the ocean. It was the plume that was the radioactive, which was an isotope plume, not uranium. It was iodine and cesium and a bunch of other stuff, okay, strontium and some other one, low temperature isotopes that are created from a nuclear meltdown. And those half-lives are different, and those are alphas. So those alpha particles, they didn't test them for a year. They waited for a year, and then they tested those like a year later. So, oh, everything's good. Yeah, no problems. Nope, no problem. Of course not. The iodine already had 10 half-lives. There could be nothing left. The cesium had 10. Actually, the iodine had more. The cesium had half-lives, numerous half-lives, to where they had permissible levels on those. And they never had an issue with uranium. So it was a complete sham. You got shammed. And guess the best part? The entire White House and the dog and the GE CEOs during this fallout got on airplanes and went to South America. Yeah, they weren't even here. Oh, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Go in your backyard and eat your tomatoes. And 4 months later, that had alpha particles on them. Canada and America. Oh my God. Unbelievable. And so now the sea rates are super high. This stuff is up really high. All kind of sicknesses are up really high. And of course, they're going to blame it on this and that, and then you got these people want to blame it on that thing, that new thing. Oh, the ouchie. They're going to blame it on everything. This is a nuclear extinction event. This is your problem. This is our problem on Earth. This is what's going to destroy the Earth. This is going to take us down. It's going to take us down, and it's already doing it. Anyways, this is my 4,000 day tribute to Fukushima. Hey, thanks for coming on.